Pay close attention to the following information. You can now check if you have been appointed as a juror for the next legislative elections to be held in March. Here we'll tell you how to consult and provide you with information about these elections.
Colombia's 2022 legislative elections will be held Sunday, March 13. Members of both chambers of the Congress of the Republic will be elected. According to data provided in the last minutes by the National Registry in the country, there is a potential of 38,819,901 voters. Now, speaking specifically in our department in San Andres, there are 47,116 voters and 7 voting stations have been identified. In all Providence, there are 4,375 and 1 voting stations, and there are 6 registered lists of candidates for the House of Representatives. On the other hand, according to the latest data provided by the National Registry Office, there is also the census of voting jurors at national level. They also inform that you can now check in the different platforms if you are designated for the task. 727,823 voting jurors were appointed throughout the country for the March 13 elections.
Después de varios meses de trabajo coordinado con el Departamento Nacional.
After a hard work between the Statistics Committee and the National Registrars, we have delivered the census today with about 38,819 and 901 voters so that they can vote on March 13th. Likewise, 727,823 voting jurors have been assigned for the next election.
To find out if you're one of the 727,823 voting jurors, you must enter the page of the registry office and select the option Jurado de Votación and enter your ID number. Immediately, the system will display a message indicating whether you have been selected to be in one of the 8 voting stations in the department. It is worth remembering that being a voting jury is something at a forced acceptance. That is to say that those who do not attend to perform the functions or abandon them without just cause will be sanctioned. In the case of public official, the sanction will be the dismissal for the position held. If you're not a public official, the sanction will be a fine of up to 10-month minimum wage.
And in order to improve the water supply for inhabitants of the island, the departmental government began work on the installation of pipes for the desalination plant.
On the 13th Street, work began of the installation of pipes for the 50-liter desalination plant, a project with the local government that seeks to contribute to the supply of water to island households. Asville Bryan, the interim secretary of the infrastructure portfolio, gave a report on the works.
The desalination plant has an advance of more than 50%. As for the milliliter tank located on the hill sector, it is already more than 70% completed. The government is in the process of obtaining permits for the catchment and discharge area from the environmental control and competent authorities.
Bryan said that soon some containers would be arriving from Italy with the necessary equipment to put the aqueduct system into operation.
And the blowing hole once again takes center stage on the island for a new confrontation between residents providing tourist services at the site and visitors. Everything indicates that the fight started because tourists refused to drink the beverage offered at the site in order to enter the place. All the information here in Teleislas News.
These are the images making the main headlines in the islands today. The looks, comments, and opinions are once again circulating around the brawl that occurred at the tourist site known as the Blowing Hole over the weekend. A place where the situation of disagreement between both parties have become more than a fact, it has become a habit. Teleislas News, in dialogue with tourism service providers, sought the version of events of the worker in the sector. They say that many visitors, by paying for a tourist card, assume that they have the free entrance to different tourist attractions.
So the people in Gama style and say, no, we don't want to pay nothing coming here because we don't pay by the airport. What happened? What your document? What things like that? Tell them we not charge the entrance coming in the parking lot, but the entrance is consume something. What is that consume? We have to maintain the place. This is something where we live off. So no, when you go in, you can drink, like say, if it's 10 persons, you could drink by pair. you drink a cocktail or a punch that we prepare here, various cocktails, them like a strawberry coconut, lemonade coconut, things like that, cocolopo, famous drinks.
The confrontation apparently occurred because the visitors wanted to enter the place without consuming. According to the worker, this, like many other sites, is one of the requirements to enjoy the attraction.
The people in command, the girl explain to them. They have an inspector here from Secretariat of Tourism, explain to them. Also, we have a pair of policeman here, explain to them also, and they tell them, okay, you know, remember the people that explain, you know, no, we bring for our own drinks, and we bring with beer, and we don't consume nothing, and we don't buy nothing. They go on to the next side where the next company or the next neighbor, because we're the one's family. So anyway, when you get to the next side, they say, no, they don't want to consume neither, so the boy tell them, okay, just step back out. You must start be aggressive with my daughter and tell her a lot of things, and he got to the end up the two hand. After that, the man, the father, or the girl, little girl, a bigger person or elder person, he knocked my daughter. And the rest I remember say, I tell you again, come blind who will not come knock. And I recite to everybody that come here, no come knock, because we not like that.
Will this be a last case? The departmental government has joined forces with other entities on several occasions to train tourism service providers operating in this area. However, these efforts have not mitigated the constant disturbances, which leads not only the government but also the community to wonder or comment on the possible causes.
With customer service training, food handling, neatness, and cleanliness workshops, the government, together with different entities, had for some years now performed occasional coaching to the workers of the site with the objective of guaranteeing an optimal service and a stable economic activity. However, there are still some impasses in the attraction, which raises questions and generates opinion about what is happening on the island. Is it the lack of implementation of good practices for quality attentions to visitors, or are the tourists who visit this area refusing to accept the terms and requirements to enter and enjoy the attraction? The situation has generated a variety of opinions on social media, where the islanders have shown rejection to the confrontation as such. There are also those who support the position of the tourist providers, and others that have expressed themselves in defense of the tourists.
And in other local news, the process of the food processing plant in our department is progressing satisfactorily. This was announced by the Secretary of Agriculture and Fisheries after technical meeting with entities in charge.
The Secretariat of Agriculture and Fisheries held a technical committee within the framework of the agreement joint administrative, technical and financial effort to contribute to social and economic development in border departments through a focus on technological innovation and sustainable products between the departmental government, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO Colombia, the Colombian Foreign Ministry, the governors of Amazonas and Guinea, and the Mayor's Office of Leticia, with the support of Mexican Agency for the International Cooperation to generate action in the departments of Amazonas, Guinea, and San Andres. For our island, this technical line had a concrete study of two lines of action: a fruit and vegetable processing plant and the strengthening of sustainable production unit of oregano, maize, basil, cucumber, chili basket pepper through an agroecological approach to provide the plant with raw materials.
Estuvimos con la Cancillería y la FAO.
We were with the Foreign Ministry and the FAO with an agreement that we made through the food processing plant that we are going to have here on the island. In that committee, we were the Secretariat, the Foreign Ministry, FAO, and the technicians of the Agriculture Secretariat, where the most relevant issues were how the process is going to be, in terms of the processing plant that will be implemented and who will be beneficiaries. There is also an association that is going to manage that production plant, and therefore they had to be there to see how the process is going. We are in the phase of requesting documents. That is the phase that the project is in right now.
This process is made feasible through a contribution of the local administration and an important contribution for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs through the border plan led by the Director of Border Development and Integration, and a whole technical team that will allow this important project for the island to be materialized.
And on the island, the reopening of programs for seniors started today.
The gradual reopening of the Golden Fraternity Club service in the different sectors of the island begins today.
We are inviting and remembering our senior adults that are beneficiaries from the Golden Fraternities that this week we are beginning our reopening presential of our clubs. Today we're starting with the Club of St. Louis, with the Club of on the Hill on Monday, on Wednesday with the St. Louis, on Thursday and on Friday with the clubs from Resident and Raisal respectively. We remember our beneficiaries that these spaces are spaces vital for the interaction with others.
These spaces will comply with all the biosecurity protocols and enjoy the organized activities.
We are going to contemplate all the protocols for COVID-19 pandemic, and in those protocols we are remembering them also that it's necessary that they carry their vaccine card so that we can verify that they have the whole cycle complete and that they carry their face masks, use it the whole meeting. And obviously we as team from the administration are going to have all the resources that we need to guarantee their welfare during the meeting.
It is important to emphasize that these clubs are important for the elderly because they are a space of inclusion and participation for this population.
And fitting and maintenance work is being carried out on the disabled grades located in the bike sector.
After the dissatisfaction presented by the community, the transit through the sector of Bight regarding the gates in bad condition, the interim Secretary of Infrastructure gave a part of tranquility, stating that the relevant work are being advanced to solve the problem.
Bueno, la Secretaría de Infraestructura viene desarrollando el contrato de mantenimiento de tapas de rejillas.
The Secretariat of Infrastructure has been developing the grading maintenance contract. We see that this particular grading, due to its topographic characteristics of location, has a particularity in terms of inclination, which accelerates its deterioration. But the Infrastructure Secretariat, taking advantage of the development of the current maintenance contract, attacked this particular point with the support of contractor. The community can rest assured it has already been assigned, and throughout the day it will be emptied and the situation will be repaired.
In images taken by this journalistic team, it can be seen that indeed today the due maintenance and adequacy of this cover in the sector of the Bight is being carried out.
And at this time, we present the indicators of the COVID-19 situation in the department.
As of today, February 14, the Ministry of Health reported 1 new case of COVID-19. Therefore, the islands reached 10,099 cases since the start of the pandemic. According to data from the local health secretariat, there are 9 active cases, 10,035 recovered, 153 deaths, and an ICU occupancy at 0%.